Good afternoon, we are now live.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this webinar organized by the FTTH Council Europe. My name is Vincent Garnier. I'm the Director General of this organization, and I have the pleasure to welcome you in this session titled Accelerating Activation and Delivering Top-Tier Customer Satisfaction, the Power of Field Service Software. This webinar is organized with the support of our member, Praxedo, but we'll also welcome speakers from a variety of organizations. So without further ado, let me bring you to the next slide, just sharing a few information about the FTTH Council Europe for those who are not fully familiar with their organization. We are a trade association founded 20 years ago. Our mission is the promotion of full fiber network as the most sustainable and future-proof access network technology. We regroup now 170 members, representing the entire ecosystem of FTTH in Europe, vendor, operator, investors. And our activity include advocacy work, creation of content, studies, report, organizing networking opportunity, and this session is part of our numerous activity where we share and favor exchange of best practices and insights between the ecosystem and all stakeholders of the FTTH industry. Now, a few technical aspects on the next slides concerning this session, this webinar. It's part of a wider series. We have a session every month approximately. And of course, we are registering the session. A replay will be made available to all registered participants, live, or those who will be able to watch the replay after this presentation. You can ask questions using the question box, which should appear at the top of your panel control. So do not hesitate to ask questions. We will bring them to the panelists during the Q&A session. And if we don't have time to address them in the 1 hour we have for this webinar, we will forward them to the organizer, and there is no doubt that they will come back to you. So please use the question box. We want this session to be as interactive as possible. The next slide is really bringing us to the core of the topic of today. What will you learn from this session? Actually, the core objective is via a very concrete example of how the software solution developed by Praxedo is adapted and used by YplaY in Germany, is to explain to you very concretely what could be the benefits in terms of productivity for activation speed and customer satisfaction of having such a software solution. So to deliver that content, we have a fantastic speaker lineup, and I will briefly introduce them to you, starting with Thomas Könnecke, Head of Operation and Services at YplaY Germany, an innovative internet service provider rolling out fiber in a region, bringing high-speed internet to local community. Next to him is Dr. Frederick Ufer, Managing Director at VATM, a well-known industry association in Germany representing over 180 telecommunication companies. Then Brendan Robert, Pre-Sales Engineer at Praxedo, a leading field service management software that optimizes operation for telecom companies, primarily in Europe and North America. And also representing Praxedo, Jonathan Smith is Head of Sales in the DACH region, an acronym which covers German-speaking country, Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. With that, I would like to transition to Brendan, who will bring us through the agenda of this session. And I'll come back towards the end to manage the Q&A. Brendan, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Vincent. Hi, everyone. So here is the menu for today's webinar. First, we'll share some context regarding the activation market landscape using insightful numbers from the German market. And then we'll move on the main optimization levers with FSM software like Praxedo. So FSM stands for Field Service Management. As you may know, FSM solution typically consists of two applications, a mobile app for field technicians and a web application for back office teams like dispatchers and managers. And at Praxedo, we are a software company focusing only on field service management. So we provide best-in-class features in this area. So in that second part, we'll discuss levers like AI and automation, and note that this won't just be theory. We'll also show a live demo of real use cases in our solution. And then for the third section, we'll discuss and dive into the YplaY's success story implementing Praxedo and improving its operations. And then, as Vincent said, we will conclude with a Q&A session, so don't hesitate to type your question in the chat during the webinar. So I hand over to Frederic for that first part about the context of the activation market, and especially the German market.
Okay, hello everybody from Cologne, right in the middle of Germany. Thank you, Vincent, for inviting me to such a high quality webinar series with a hot topic, activating our customers. The race for customer satisfaction now is really an important issue in Germany, and I will show you why. I will show you some of the latest figures we are going to publish in our study series in Germany. VATM is publishing market surveys since 26 years, and it's the #1 source for figures and numbers in the German market. Only one information about VATM. We are representing the whole market, not only companies which roll out fiber networks, but also mobile network operators and satellite operators, the big nationwide access seekers in the German market like Vodafone and 1&1. The whole bandwidth of the market is within VATM. That's important for some of our positions, but today my goal is to give you a closer look on the difficulties and challenges in the German market. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, something about the German fiber situation. The aim of the German government's gigabit strategy was to achieve nationwide fiber coverage by the year 2030. And I have to say was because, as most of you will know, the governing coalition in Germany has broken up, and we will see a new setup of our parliament in a few days' time. But of course, it is also foreseeable that a new political leadership will not formulate any less ambitious goals. And 2030 is a very ambitious goal for Germany. But it's understandable given Germany's low position in the international rankings in the context of FTTH. The FTTH Council is publishing these international rankings on a regular basis. Politicians have understood that the gap to the leading countries must be closed quickly in Germany, and there is the time for action in our country. And reaching such an ambitious goal, 2030, makes it necessary that companies do the opportunity to have large expansion clusters and ideally a nationwide expansion of homes connected directly in the initial rollout. But on the other hand, demand for fiber is relatively low in Germany today, and the customer's willingness to migrate from copper to fiber is still often, let's say, reserved. And one of the main reasons for this is Deutsche Telekom's very good high-performance copper network, which can transmit bandwidth up to 250 megabits in Germany, thanks to the nationwide rollout of the famous vectoring technology, which was not available in many other countries. So far as I know, Germany is the only one which was able to roll out vectoring on a nationwide basis. And the user in Germany is not yet in a great need to get rid of its VDSL connection with only 16 or 50 megabits, like in many other countries. And finally, switch to a much better fiber optic network. And the second point is that Germany is one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive country in the world to roll out fiber. And this has led to the result that most operators deploying fiber focus on a demand-driven expansion and are hesitating to connect homes without an existing service contract. And house owners, to add this, are generally not keen on paying for the simple connection for an unused broadband connection where they have a functioning copper DSL contract, in most cases with Deutsche Telekom. And in this context, one of the dominant topics in the current debate on fiber, and there is a huge debate going on in Germany, is the growing gap between the number of homes passed and homes connected and homes activated. So if you have a look on the next slide, the challenges in Germany, here you can see very clearly that copper is still the dominant access technology in Germany, despite the omnipresent discussion about fiber optics. Everyone is talking about FTTH and FTTB, but 2/3 of all lines in Germany are served by copper. And of course, we also have a very well available HFC cable network in the large and medium-sized cities, fully upgraded to DOCSIS 3.1, and therefore clearly gigabit capable. Sorry for my rusty language skills. It's been a while. And this is one of the reasons why fiber, FTTH, in Germany has taken place mainly in rural areas in the recent years. Important. This slide, the one you see there, is about the active, the paying users, the so-called homes activated. And if you look on the next slide, this one is focusing on the next level up, homes connected. The number of FTTH connections in Germany is, right now, these are numbers from mid-2024, it's right now at 8.5 to 9 million homes connected, and the fiber coverage rate has increased by the end of last year of 2024 to 90%. It is also clear that most of the work on the fiber optic expansion is being done by the competitors. It's a very interesting slide. Over 70% has been contributed, a large proportion of the connection, by competitors of the Deutsche Telekom, which are represented by VATM, because Deutsche Telekom is not allowed to become a member of VATM, that you have to know. Deutsche Telekom has been forced to enter the race for customers in Germany and is responding to competitive pressure. So let's come to the next slide. This slide is one of the most interesting ones for the German market, because once again it becomes very clear that in any case, Deutsche Telekom and its competitors have a huge gap to close between homes passed and homes activated. With a take-up rate of more than 35%, the competitors are doing this much more ambitiously than Deutsche Telekom. That's what I already said. The competition pressure on Deutsche Telekom forces them to react, and it's a motivation of all these competing companies to activate as many customers as possible. So, next slide. One conclusion you can find is the gap between homes passed and homes activated must not become too large. It's a huge challenge to keep your customer interested once he has signed a contract, the service contract with an operator. Once the customer is dissatisfied with a long period between signing the service contract and the actual provision of services by the operator, there's a chance for a competitor to get in touch with your customer you already have and to convince him about signing another contract, which leads to a couple of problems. But you will lose your customer when you're not able to deliver a service you have promised to him and he's waiting for. What can help is definitely an information and advertising campaigns. We want them to be run by the public sector, by the government, which should create more sensitiveness for the impact of fiber, because there is somehow not a sense for the meaning of becoming fully digital and the meaning of nationwide available digital infrastructure to become digital. I think it's different in many other countries, but in Germany we have a lot of work in front of us. And what definitely will help is the so-called copper switch off, which is a topic in nearly every other country in the EU. It's important to close the gap because many end customers and building owners are not yet aware that the copper networks will be switched off in the future. And we are fighting for a public known roadmap, especially by Deutsche Telekom for the copper switch off, which could have a positive impact on the demand for fiber, even a certain date when the copper will be switched off. And the conclusion is, do everything which is possible to activate your customer and to make him pay for the services you are able to deliver. And I'm very, very, very interested in the kind of tools and possibilities companies like Praxedo are offering for our operators. I know that they are very successful in the international markets, and I know that the German cases which they help are very successful ones. So that might be the bridge to the next part of our presentation. This is only a summary of what is going to happen right now in Germany, what the status by the end of 2024. And I'm really interested to see what companies like Praxedo, which are also a member of the ATM, and YplaY are doing with their use cases in Germany. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Frederick. So I take over regarding the optimization levers with the field service solution like Praxedo. Here is the topics we will cover today. There are topics first, so I think it's important to understand that we will focus on activation and also fiber network maintenance, but not on the huge construction work, because the big differences are in activation and maintenance. We have more volume, so field technicians will perform like several jobs per day, several activation per day, or several maintenance per day. And also we have the end customers who are involved. So that makes the needs and the requirements in terms of software very different from the construction phase. And we will showcase today how Praxedo can bring a lot of value on this whole process of activation and maintenance. So, and as Frederick has shown in Germany, but in many other countries, there is a lot of work, still a lot to do in terms of activation. Customer satisfaction is more and more important, and even in some more major markets like France, the customer satisfaction, I think, is even more an even more important pillar. And we see that ISPs work on the customer experience a lot to differentiate from their competitors, and that's where Praxedo can help. So that will be mostly our second section, customer experience. We'll start first by the contractor management, because this is an important topic, as most of the ISPs and telco companies work with contractors, and the software can bring a lot. And then also talking about route optimization and how AI can empower technicians. So let's move on the first part and on the contractor management. In our opinion, there are three main challenges. The first is the real-time visibility. Real-time visibility of the operations are key, because any internet service provider lacking of a good field service solution will usually lack of visibility of the operations. So this results in a lot of pain internally, because the information is not shared in real time. It can result in bad customer satisfaction. For instance, if a customer give a phone call to the customer service, and if they don't have the information that where is the technician or what's the progress of the job, this is really a bad experience for the customer. And also, if the information takes a lot of time to get back to the ISP, it increases delay in case of unexpected events or failure during the installation. Process harmonization is also key, and we'll see why Praxedo can help on that part, because you don't want your end customers to have different experience based on the contractors, based on the companies during the installation. And you want to make sure that you have the same data collected in your information system, whatever is the contractors working for you. And finally, you also usually as an ISP want to track the performance of your contractors. And so to track the performance, like the success rate, if they meet the appointment time, you want to have a unique solution where you can track all this information. And last but not least, we think it's also a big challenge sometimes to onboard the contractors, because the field technicians and the back office teams, they sometimes have several tools. So you have to make sure that the solution you ask them to use is easy to use, intuitive, so they don't need to be techie or to use the application. So how Praxedo handles all those challenges, you have the figure on the right part of the slide. You can see that the Praxedo application will always be connected to the information system of the ISP, so it can be like the CRM, the OSS system. So we make sure that in the Praxedo application, we get the jobs and all necessary information synchronized in the solution, and then it can be dispatched to the different contractors or internal technicians. We can also manage tier 2, tier 3 subcontractors, as it's usually happen in the telco industry. And this is very easy to implement in the solution. And of course, as I was saying, for real-time visibility, you want to have information going back to the information system of the internet service provider. And this architecture is usually both beneficial, of course, for the ISP, but also for the contractors, because they benefit from automatic synchronization, and so they reduce the manual task from their back office team. So next, the customer experience, which I think is maybe the main challenge today for the ISPs. Regarding customer experience, Praxedo can bring on mainly two aspects. The first one are automated communications. It's pretty, I would say, basic features, but it's very important to reduce the no-show of your customers. And you also want your customers to be informed automatically, so they don't have to call your customer service, and you save time in your back office team. So with Praxedo, you can configure in the solution SMS and emails that are sent automatically to your end customers all along the progress of the jobs. So that's the first step. But to go further, Praxedo can help a lot with the appointment booking process, which is usually a very challenging topic for the internet service providers because it can be quite complex. And there are two sometimes opposites objectives that are the customer satisfaction. You want to deliver the service fast to the customer. You want the customer to have a seamless experience while he books the appointment, and also the productivity of your technicians, whether they are internal or contractors. So how Praxedo can help? First, let's look at the different options. You of course sometimes need to book appointments directly in the field service solutions, and we offer that kind of feature. We'll come back after to this. But usually you would be more interested to have the appointment booking done by your customer service, and your customer service won't necessarily use the field service solution like Praxedo. They will usually use a CRM or a specific solution. And we'll see that Praxedo can also help contribute to the appointment booking from the CRM or any third-party solution. And then, and that will be a live demo, we can also provide portals to have the customers book their appointment by themselves. But if we look quickly at how it can be managed in an FSM solution. At Praxedo, we have a specific feature for managers, dispatchers to book appointments with the customer from Praxedo. So this is just a screenshot, but this is when you want to book an appointment with a customer. We have a specific feature, so you can, on the left panel, fill in the constraints of the customer, what day the customer is available. Is he available in the morning or in the afternoon, during what time slots? And then you have, in a matter of seconds, all the time slots where you have technicians available, and they're ranked based on the technician's additional travel time. So this one, for instance, is ranked 4 stars because you have a technician very close by on that day at that time slot, taking into account all the previously planned work orders and availabilities, etc., travel time, home address of the technicians, etc. So that's in Praxedo, but as we mentioned, the most value is usually to book the appointment from a third-party solution by the customer service team. So how does it work? How can we bring a solution on that topic? Praxedo also provide APIs to connect our solution to the CRM, for instance, and we have a dedicated API to provide reliable and optimized time slots based on the job specification and the planning of the technicians in Praxedo. So in real time, we're able to push back to the CRM a list of time slots where we make sure you have technicians available. It can be contractors or internal technicians. So the customer service team has all the information they need to book the appointment live with the customers over the phone or for instance, in a shop. Of course, we take into account as well all the constraints like the availabilities of the technicians, their skills, if they are limited to a specific area, their travel time needed to get to that specific job. So we make sure that the time slots offered by the customer service are reliable. And then we have also a very interesting feature for the customer satisfaction, which is an end customer portal for the end customers to manage their appointments. So I will go straight into the demo. Up. Sorry, I have to connect my smartphone. Well, up. Okay, I'll use, I think let's give 30 tech, and otherwise I have some. So make sure you can see the feature. But I would prefer to show it live. Okay. Okay, here it is. So here, let's put ourselves into the customer shoes, and let's open this text messages. So this is a typical series of text message. Sorry. Sorry, I think my cable is out of order. Okay. So let's get back to this customer view of this series of SMS. So of course, you have usually the first SMS that is sent when the appointment is booked. So that's an example. Hello, Mr. Customer, your appointment for fiber installation is scheduled to the January 31st. If you need to reschedule, click on this link. So this way, the appointment is previously booked, but the customer can reschedule the job if he needs. You could work another way with the customer booking the appointment from the first time using the portal. But here we are in a case where it's already booked, but the customer can reschedule its appointment by himself. So same way, here you can see we have slots provided to the customers. Depending on the day, the slots won't be the same because it takes into account the technician's availability. So the customer can pick another slot that fits well to him. For instance, I will select Tuesday 10:30 a.m. And here I can, by myself, change my appointment as a customer. So that's a very efficient way for your back office team to save some time, because you let the customer do the rescheduling by himself, and you also provide a seamless experience to your customer. And then we have another feature, which is the estimated travel time of the technician tracking. So as soon as the technician starts to travel, you can have another SMS sent to the customer, and this allows the customer to track the progress of the technician on the map. So again, this is a way to have a better experience for your customer. Make sure that he can track if the technician is a bit late, and then be informed if there is any traffic jam or that kind of stuff. All right, so of course, we have also route optimization features. In addition to this appointment booking process in the solution, you can run automatic optimization to have the routes optimized even if there is an unexpected event, like a technician sick in the morning or a technician who is late during the day, and you can reshuffle the routes automatically to make sure you reduce as much as possible the travel time of your technicians. And you save also that way a lot of time from your back office team with this automatic route optimization. This is just a testimony of one of our customers, but the time saving for the back office team can be tremendous with that kind of features. So I won't show it live, this one, but it's really one of the key features of our solution. And last but not least, we will have a live demo. I hope I won't have any trouble to share my screen anymore, about the field technician empowerment, and especially how AI can help the technician to manage a work order, to manage a job. So we provide a mobile application for the field technicians, which is named also Praxedo. I will just open this mobile application, and here as a technician I can see that I have 3 jobs already scheduled for today. I could view my planning for the different days on a map, etc., but I would just open this job. If I want to, I can click on navigate and use my GPS, etc., to get to the customer address. But then I will open the job detail and have all the information related to that job. So here are some information about the cabinet. Here are some information about the central office. I got the order number, etc. This is information coming from the information system of the internet service provider. As a technician, I can access to the history if there was any jobs performed before for that customer, and I will just start this job. So to start this job, I can have different steps. Here I configured very basic step, driving, which can be the trigger to have the SMS sent to the customer, as discussed before, to see the live position of the technician on the appointment portal for the end customer. And then I would just say that now I'm on site. So all of these actions are time tracked. That's how then you can calculate KPIs, was the technician on time, etc. Then I will open the report part and show you how we can guide the technician through the job. So here is just an example. You can configure that kind of report as you want. I will say that I'm able to start the job and show you how at the customer premise I can use AI to make sure that the installation is compliant. So I will say, yes, the fiber socket is installed. I will have to take this fiber socket picture. So I go to my gallery, but of course the technician can be forced to take the picture live with their camera. And here I will launch the AI control. So it will check automatically from the picture if the installation is compliant, including, for instance, if the reference of the socket matches the expected reference. And it will check if the measurements from the photometer on that use case are correct. So here, everything is correct, but if something was wrong, we could alert or even block the technicians to make sure they complete the installation successfully. Then we can have more fields like QR code, scanner, scan, etc. So for instance, or we can launch, so I will scan this QR code or barcode. And we can launch also API call to external solutions. So for instance, here we launch a router connection test from the app, but in the background, it will call a third-party API from the ISP to get some information back to the app about, for instance, the test result to make sure everything is connected correctly. So yeah, let's say then I can take a few pictures, but again, this is all configurable, so I will go very fast to close the job. But as you can see, the app is very easy to use, and we think it's really important, especially when you use contractors, as we were saying in the first part. So the job is now completed, and we can move back to our slides. So you've seen the mobile app, at least a part of it. And last topic we want to cover in terms of features, examples of features that can boost productivity and customer satisfaction is this one, the video call that we can provide with Praxedo, either with clients or technicians. So there are, I would say, two main use cases. First use case would be with clients for troubleshooting. For instance, you can trigger a video call with the client to try for a remote resolution or at least do a pre-diagnosis of the situation and trying to save any travel to the customer location and also to improve your success rates with a pre-diagnosis. And then we see it a lot in the telco industry, field technician assistance from remote experts. So if you have expert at the office that can support technicians who struggles to do, for instance, a home activation, Praxedo gives the ability to trigger a video call and also during this video call to share documents, to draw on the documents, as you can see here on the right of the slides, and everything is recorded, the video, but also the documents. So you have the full history of this communication linked to the job in the solution. And that brings a lot of value again to improve the success rate of your activations, to improve the customer satisfaction. So that was a very quick but dense Praxedo presentation regarding the telco industry. We'll now move to the YplaY success story to have some feedback from one of our customers about how Praxedo helped to improve the operations.
Okay, I think this is my part. Hello from my side. So Brandon was not telling us a magic story because everything was based on evidence. And this is my part now to show you that this is really working, what he was presenting for a couple of seconds. So first of all, we want to introduce ourselves. Our value in our company is also customer service and customer satisfaction. This is why Per Kohlstetter, our Chief Executive Officer, will also have this put in one sentence, which is close that we have a maximum customer satisfaction, and we want to achieve a long-term customer loyalty. So we don't want to be there for 1 second, one night stand. We want to be a long-term customer loyalty with our customer, because we see us 2 times in this process. To our company, it's a Blue Networks group. We have over 110 employees. It's divided into 2 companies. First of all, we have a long-term story with Blue Networks, over 20 years now. In Germany, we say IT Systemhaus. I would translate it into IT solution partner for networks and carriers on the B2B level. We also have our procurement on IP4 addresses regarding IP4 addresses, and we are taking the infrastructure on network by LAN and Wi-Fi, and also the backbones for carrier, which also have the story regarding to the YplaY. We the regional ISP here in the local area of Hessen, which we have when we are finished. We are want to have home passed over 50,000 customers. We're going to reach by home passed, and then the next years we will reach homes connected and homes activated over 40,000, 45,000 customer. But this is the momentum. Maybe like Frederick said, it's an increasing business, so you don't know what is tomorrow. So maybe our customer will be increasing on this way, and we are go more on our region. So we have up on the first company on the B2B level, and then the YplaY Germany GmbH will be providing our customer on the B2C level. Next slide will be showing that Praxedo is really helping us in this process. I mentioned the number of customer we want to activate. So first of all, we decided to come with Praxedo because we did a lot of paperwork before, and you saw the region is really a high distance which we have to reach, and still in mind that we need this customer satisfaction and long-term loyalty. So this application helps us to enable to optimize the FTTH connection for our customers quickly, and overall the transparency apparently was the main issue on this, choosing the right application. After implement this application, we had a short time frame of connection process, really because like Brandon already mentioned, a very easy application to use. There was nobody to, how do you say, to turn around and say you have to take this application, because you must use this application. After a short training with the subcontractors and also the internal technical employees, they were really satisfied about this application. And then you have the entry to use it, because you really have the benefits really on hand with your application. And for all, it's not based on iOS, it's also used on Android and other systems. So it was really easy, because you don't need to buy new devices. You can use your devices you already have, and then you have a really nice implementation. And in this short period, really our completion rates was up to over 40%. In which process we are right now, we don't talk about the setup of a pop-up or the construction or the installation of the house connection. I mean the home pass. We're focused on the activation of connection, which will you see in the next slide, which was our playground on step 5 for all the participants here in this call or in this training. On the next slide, you see a little overview of our business case, which is slightly showing the activation connection process. And we had the challenge between the homes connected and home activated process to decrease the activation time. So you have a long time period, like Frederick said, you get a contract, and then after 120 days, we starting to build or we start in the village or in the city, and then the first time the customer sees, oh, something has happened, and then it's really silent a little bit, yeah, and then we need to really fast have a period of home activation process. And for this, Praxedo helps us a lot, because our challenges and solution for the next slide was that in the beginning we were able to handle orders in a very volatile manners. Also we couldn't get a forecast. How much activation can we do? On the left side, you see we have up to 80 activation per month, or 68 and 45. And then, to be honest, people who gives us the money for investors and stuff like this wants to see a slightly forecast. What is your activation looks like? What will be the next numbers for the next months? And it was really hard to figure this out, yeah, only on Excel sheets and stuff like this. There was no planning for the capability, like Brandon also mentioned in his tool, yeah. What kind of technical guys you have, what kind of skills you have. You have different kind of levels which you need on this process. It's everything in mind, yeah, but not really in an application, or everybody has his own paper on his desk. Then we have, like what we mentioned with the external technical people, we have divided these groups in two groups. We have an internal team, we have an external team, because of the huge distance of this region, because everything starts from Lindheim, from our headquarter, and then sometimes it takes you 45 minutes to the expansion region to start with your activation. And this is helps us also that the technical guy can stay in this region, and we can go over by this technical solution. Now, all this information comes out to CIM. This is also Brandon shows in this little overview, and then we make a disposition from our CIM exactly to this application Praxedo. And really, I'm really honest on this, no paper needed anymore. And this was also on this side, before we implementate this application, our techies has to come all the time to our headquarter, get his equipment, get his orders, and then he started from the headquarter out into the region for the activation. And you know, somebody says you can put Raum and Zeit, I mean the distance between where you start and then starting or from the location on. It's really you're losing time, and this gives you no customer satisfaction at the end. So at the end of the day, our techies always had to come to Lindheim, as I mentioned. And with Praxedo was the possibility to send these orders electronically by the disposition. We had one guy who makes a disposition in the first time. Now it's all automatically. Sometimes we look on the order preparation, because we know exactly in CRM what kind of technical guy will do the activation in these expansion areas. And the next step out of Praxedo was that we supply our expansion areas via Deutsche Post or DPD, which is just a vehicle to bring the Fritzbox and all the other technical equipment to the customers. Because this was also a challenge, that because if you have somebody choose his equipment in our headquarter and has it in his own car, and maybe was on vacation or had a sick leave, so this equipment and the appointments, like Brandon said, you have an appointment and the equipment is in the car, how this comes together. So we divided this process into Praxedo, and this is also very cool on this application, because really fast you can take these orders and bring it to another technical employee or external technical employee, which can cover all these appointments with the customer. Again, customer satisfaction is a really high value in our company. So comes to our advantage at the end, it's that we mentioned maybe 5 points. There's a little bit more. If you want to have more, you can reach me on LinkedIn, and I can tell you the real story again without Praxedo. So it's no problem because we really like this tool. We have a quick and an efficiency implementation. Our connection thanks. This was really a very time-saving and short connection time with our technical guys. It was really intuitive and really short that the application was understanding, and this is really a flexible solution on the way FTTH activation for the whole process. And at the end, we are not only using Praxedo for this one solution to have our challenge right. So we also, out of this box on the last slide, is that we also use this for further service assignments and apartment buildings like in-house cabling. So because in our business, if you have more people living in a house, like more than 3, then our part is that we taken part of the in-house cabling, for example. So we have to also divide it in our administration process in our company to find a good solution for our customer. And also what Brandon says is the service calls in the event of faults and accidents. So at the end of the day, short and quickly business case from YplaY in Germany, how we used Praxedo in this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. So I think we come to the end of our presentation, and we can now move to the Q&A session.
And thank you, Brandon. We actually received a couple of questions, and if we have time to address them, and maybe you can also take that opportunity to ask more questions. So the first one, I read that to you, is: do you have a solution for reactivating a new connection without needing to send out an engineer? For example, a new customer moves into a home with existing equipment.
So we provide, as I mentioned, a video assistance tool, so you can enter in a video communication with the end customer without the customer to have to install any application. He receives only a text with a link, so it's very seamless for the customer to get in that communication. So you could guide him to do some task, but we don't provide hardware solutions to activate the line without a technician. So we would have to dig deeper. What we can provide is video assistance that you can use to guide the end customers. I don't know if that would be enough to meet your needs.
Okay, at least that's a good answer to that specific question. I have another question. According to my understanding, says Mike, Praxedo is oriented to steps 4 and 5 of YplaY rollout steps. Can Praxedo be used also for contractors who connect the street to the building and deploy in-house wiring?
Thomas, do you want to give your opinion on that, or I can take it? Up to you.
Yeah, I would take it on the practical part. You can use the tech as a. I think the operation part is mine. Also, you can answer by the technical part, because I would say yes, it's possible, but you can answer it more on the deeper way.
Yes, actually we have many use cases from the building to the home where our customers use Praxedo, because that's still short jobs that doesn't last too long. Where I would say where Praxedo is not a fit is for the huge construction work, when you have to roll out a whole neighborhood with construction work that lasts for weeks. That wouldn't be something for Praxedo, but for jobs, just to connect a drop point to the building. Yes, we have many customers doing that with Praxedo, and of course you can have your contractors using Praxedo to do that. And that's the whole strength of Praxedo regarding contractor management, is that you can have within the solution your internal technicians, but also your contractors, and so you benefit from the real-time visibility and all the features we've discussed, including for the jobs that you subcontract.
Okay, I have another question related to how did YplaY manage to get its subcontractors to work with the Praxedo application? Do they have their own application already, or how was the implementation of the Praxedo solution beneficial for them?
Okay. Also first of all, we invited them for a German breakfast, and then we showed them the application and showed them really the benefits. And the easy way was because everybody has such a device. It doesn't matter if it's Apple or Android and stuff like this. So like with Jonathan together, we make this introduction, and then the people was really fine with that because they can use it really easy. And Praxedo is also possible to send push message, which is automatically receiving on your cell phone or other devices. So you don't have to go there and lose any message or any contracts. This is why it was so easy. Afterwards, the process, we don't know exactly how each subcontractor will manage his process inside. But it's a very nice interface for them to get the orders out of Outlook and other applications. So then you have a really right direction to give them the orders. I hope I could answer the question.
I think you did very well, especially on the German breakfast side. I have another question popping up with a lot of acronyms. So do you only integrate to CRM or other GIS or all SS/BSS also? Can you say which platform you have integrated with?
So we have open APIs, which allows our customers to connect Praxedo to any solutions. Of course, we have many customers that connected Praxedo to their BSS and OSS system, including their CRM or GIS solutions. So yeah, sometimes we developed some off-the-shelf connectors that we can provide to our customers as well, but it's more for ERP, standard ERP on the market like Business Central or Sage X3, etc. Usually in the telco industries, the other softwares are specific, like OSS or BSS systems. They use our own API to connect Praxedo to their solution, and so they have this real-time connection between their solutions and Praxedo.
Okay. I have a question. What company size is Praxedo suited for? We have the example of YplaY, but are they limitation? Are they sweet spot for your solution?
The Praxedo solution is really easy to implement because it's only configuration. So it means that it's really suited for small companies that don't want to spend much on services, but it's also suited to mid and big companies because while it's only configuration, it's a very deep solution with many advanced features. And so we have customers with thousands of technicians, and they're using the same solution actually than the small companies we work with that sometimes have only like 5 or 10 technicians. And that's because of the strengths of Praxedo to be only configuration and to be a SaaS solution, meaning we don't have to install the solutions on your physical infrastructure. You access it through a mobile application and a web application for the back office team.
Okay. I think we have 2 minutes left. I want to take that last question, maybe directed to Thomas as a form of conclusion. The question is around the key factor, the key success factor to benefit from the deployment of this solution, and what would you advise other ISP to do to best make use of such a solution?
Okay, that's a good question from the auditorium. But to be honest, it's you have to think different first because what we all see is that we all in process, we're hustling every day, and we have the customers who's really pushing us that they want to have an activation and stuff like this. But you have to take time and step away from the process and look for a good solution. Maybe it's Praxedo, in our case, but you have to find a solution that you lose your paperwork. You have to work on the 21st century, that we are on the way to digitalization. You want to sell FTTH, but you're still working with Excel sheets and paperwork. So maybe on this way, take a look forward beyond this, and that can be a solution. And also for the employees, I think was really a driver, a change in our process, that the employees really get less stress in this process, because they really kept calm, I would say, at the end of the day, because it was really easy and they have a really transparency. And also for answering customers really hard question, you have a really fast answer, because you know exactly where the customer at the moment in the process will be placed. Yeah, this is what I want to say.
Well, thank you, Thomas. I think that concludes for your part. Thank you, Brandon, Jonathan, and Frederick, for contributing to this panel. I would like to thank our audience. The next webinar session hosted by the FTTH Council will take place on the 13th of February, organized by our member Axiros. And we also, of course, have the forthcoming FTTH conference in Amsterdam at the end of March, and I would, of course, invite all of you to join us in presence during those 3 days in Amsterdam for our annual event. Thank you so much for attending this session. The replay will be sent to all registered participants within a few days. And I wish to see you virtually or in person at one of our next initiative and event. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.